it's been a while.
Yeah, we're back.
X-Files by Moonlight. Yeah, so we're gonna pick up right where we left off. And we're gonna change some things up a little bit. Since we've realized that you guys like the shorter videos, we're gonna condense everything.
If you haven't noticed, we've been trying to keep most of our videos at half an hour.
Yes, and so we're gonna do the same thing with X-Files. Really, we're just gonna condense the summary and then talk more about it and how we feel.
Yeah, we're not gonna go through that every single scene.
No.
Yeah.
Like we were doing, because it was confusing us as well. So, so this next episode is episode 5, The Jersey Devil.
I have my issues with that title.
Do you have issues with it? Okay. So let's go over the summary. Basically, Mulder and Scully are investigating. This is gonna be a really short summary. Mulder and Scully are investigating what they call the Jersey Devil, which is a Neanderthal woman.
Wait a minute. Okay, stop. Okay, everybody knows the Jersey Devil is the story of like that old witch mother Leeds who had so many kids, then finally she was just said like, let the devil have the next one, and it came out like a horse-headed winged monster, and it's like Nessie or something, or Bigfoot. It's like not even like this. They tried to make it more like Bigfoot here. It's like a freakish like monster. Animal mix, like just all kinds of animals.
He didn't even let me get through the synopsis.
Yeah, I know, but this is important. I'm not gonna, look, that's what the Jersey Devil is.
Yeah.
And that lives in the New Jersey woods, and you know, people see it like Mothman or something, you know?
Right.
And yeah, that the only thing this episode has in common with that is the title. That's not about the Jersey Devil.
You mean not about our preconceived notions of the Jersey Devil?
It's not about the legend of the Jersey Devil.
This is the X-Files Jersey Devil, so just accept it.
Go ahead.
Alright, so anyway. So in this episode, Mulder and Scully are investigating some cannibalistic murders in New Jersey. And later on they find out that it's from this woman, Neanderthal woman, who has come out of the woods to get food for her daughter, Neanderthal daughter, because her mate had died. And that's it. And that inspires like stories of the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Synopsis.
Okay. There's your fast version as opposed to our scene by scene play.
Alright, so did you like this episode, Nathan?
Honestly, I'm torn on this episode.
Okay.
It was as an episode, it was fine. I just had my issues with that. It's that X-Files thing where they kind of promise you one thing and they give you something else.
Right.
Which like we always say on this show, we always talk about Kolchak a little bit.
This episode was super Kolchak.
This episode was very Kolchak-like.
We've been saying that a lot in the last few episodes.
But if Kolchak is researching the Jersey Devil, he would have found a horse-headed monster with wings.
Right.
It wouldn't have been just and I mean, there was a time I think where he did a case very similar to this one where it was like Neanderthals or something. I think, unless I'm just confusing this episode with the Kolchak episode, but I feel like there is an episode like that. I don't know. There are scenes in this episode that are so much like Kolchak that I could be getting confused.
And what are some of those scenes, especially when
it's those interview scenes where like Mulder goes and talks to like the professor. I feel like for a second I thought that character was like a character they pulled right out of Kolchak, like the same actor and everything. But I guess
I love that actor. He's in so many things in the 70s and the 60s. He's in so many things. Really good
And
actor.
actually, I'm almost certain there's a Kolchak episode about like a Neanderthal thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, I should know because there's like 13 episodes.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I put them on. And he goes to like a high school professor or somebody and interviews him and has a very similar discussion.
You might be mixing this up
No,
with
no,
X-Files.
I swear, look this up. I'm almost certain there's a Kolchak episode where that happens. I feel like it might have been Jamie Farr as the teacher.
Well, also his interactions with the police as well.
And the police, yeah, that were, yeah, all of the scenes where he's like, they're a win, I just saw it, and the police come up, pull up, and they're like, all right.
Kolchak.
No, wait a minute, Tony. Listen, this guy just doesn't think he's the Ripper. He is the Ripper. Have you ever Jack the Ripper?
Let me see if I understand you. Are you saying that our Ripper is the same man who killed those 7 women in London in the 1880s?
1888 to be precise. Yeah, and it was 5, always 5 women. He killed 5 women in and around the Place Pigalle in Paris in the summer of 1888. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he has killed, mutilated, and maimed over 70 women during the past 80 years in 25 major cities from Vladivostok to Milwaukee.
I better tell Doc Harris to stand by. I think we got a nut that needs certifying.
I've seen it. Seen what?
You've been spending too much time in supermarket checkout lines. The story's as old as the hills.
Who's going to be responsible when you lose your first tourist, detective? You are.
No, you are, sir, because you're wasting my time and impeding the solution of this case.
And I loved all that stuff, because I'm a huge Kolchak.
It's really good.
But I just didn't like the fact that it was the Jersey Devil, but it's actually just a Neanderthal. And then when we finally see the Neanderthal, she just looks like a lady. She doesn't look like a Neanderthal. She doesn't have an eyebrow like a. You remember that?
She looks like a woman.
She's just all dirty.
Yeah.
And naked.
Who got lost when she was 5.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, exactly.
And she's like,
She looks like she's just somebody who got lost in the woods and grew up
that way.
And at the end, like the little stinger at the end, they show that her kid is still out there in the woods. It's just a little kid. It's just a regular kid. It is not a caveman at all. I mean, at least give us a caveman. Dirty. They're just dirty and they can't talk and they're naked and they live in the woods and they're eating people sometimes.
Yeah, all the time.
But it was a good episode. Okay, if I was gonna say if there was a part that I didn't like, it kind of loses me for a while when they're just like running around chasing people in like urban areas,
I'll say
trying to catch the lady at the end.
It's not the strongest episode of X-Files. I mean,
Yeah.
Whenever I'm watching the X-Files from start to finish, I always come to this episode and I'm like, okay.
Skip it.
Skip it. Yeah, maybe.
It has its moments.
It does have its moments. The interaction between Mulder and Scully is awesome. I love watching it for the shipper and not shipper moments, like their interaction.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah.
But like, I guess the topic, the way you describe the Jersey Devil, which I am not as familiar with the myth or the folklore of the Jersey Devil, that seemed way more interesting than the way the X-Files portrayed it.
I don't remember 100%. I feel like it's the same witch that cursed the family. You know the story from American Horror Story? American Haunting. I can't remember what that story is. The Bell Witch.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it might be the same lady. I'm not 100%, but I think it's like the same lady, the Bell Witch. So it's like the Bell Witch had this child, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway. But it is more interesting. It's the kind of stuff we usually like, that really like supernatural.
Either way, it's more interesting.
That supernatural, you know, New Englandish area kind. I mean, I know it's New Jersey, but you know what I mean.
Also, I just
The
like to
olden
say,
days type stuff.
and this goes with the shipping moments that we'll discuss later, but I remember being like 13 and hating this episode because for some reason I thought that Mulder was like genuinely interested in the Neanderthal woman, and now watching it like years later, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, let's just go back with the whole like preteen, any touch or anything like that means something.
I don't know. I could see him like taking her in and like forming a relationship over time.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I was worried about that.
Just because of his weird fascination with her and everything.
Yeah.
But not that he was already like.
Maybe.
I don't know. They did have the jealousy stuff with Scully goes out on a date.
Shippy moments.
Well, I know. That's not what I was gonna say. She looked really nice on that date.
Oh, yeah. She looked really pretty.
That was weird.
Sure.
I became a super dad on the weekends with Scott. I had this unconscious fear of being replaced. I actually had dreams where I was running over his stepfather with my car. Well, you'll understand when you have kids. Having kids changes everything.
That's what they say.
Maybe some weekend, if you're up for it, we could take the kids out to the beach for the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of funny. She was dating this guy, and the guy was talking about his kid and all that. And you know, it was kind of like she was kind of like, oh, okay, great. And
yeah, because she had even expressed earlier, which is really interesting, that she expressed that she was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for kids. And then like later on in the mythology, she's so into kids, and
yeah, and
it
I
makes
guess
sense,
that
but
happens
I don't know.
with people. But then
Yeah.
there's also people nowadays who just don't want to have kids, and for them, this is like a good episode. You have a lot of those moments where it's like, because people are. She's kind of going through that thing where she's meeting people, and they're kind of like, having kids is the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
She went to that birthday party for the god kid, and the kid's mom was. And it was kind of funny. She was talking about how do you do it and everything? How are you such a good mom? And I don't remember what she said, but I was thinking, yeah, the dog is eating your cake. You're not doing a great job. the birthday cake.
What happened? Jungle warfare. Oh, kill that dog. The squad doesn't get to before you do.
It's like, I mean, okay, you're doing an okay job, but
You know, my mom.
people do better.
My mom was so awesome. Like, she made sure no animal touched my birthday cake.
Kids are running into the walls. The dog's eating the birthday
Well, the
cake.
kids run into the walls either way.
Yeah, but I've seen better mothering. I'm just saying. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that was kind of a running thing in this movie. That whole like, you want to be a mom now, and she was kind of.
Well, it was
like,
it was
I think I'm gonna keep
it was
doing.
a parallel. They were showing the parallels between that, like the civilized parenthood and motherhood, and the motherhood of the Neanderthal woman.
I guess
showing
I was seeing more of like comparing her with Mulder's life, and I mean.
That too. There were a lot of parallels
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on. A lot. It was showing, and Scully even mentioned later how she was like, you know, 6 year. What did she say? 8 6-year-old kids running around. That's really. I don't know, Neanderthal-ish. What did she say?
I don't remember that line.
You don't remember that line?
But yeah, I can believe it. But yeah, and Mulder, of course, she's giving him heat for not having a life
Yeah.
because he's so focused on hunting down stuff. And but I think he's doing pretty good.
I mean, I'd prefer that.
He's doing something.
I definitely prefer that. So first we're gonna go over character development, and we did touch on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
So Mulder, we first see his porn addiction. That's a big thing.
Working hard, Mulder?
This woman claims to have been taken aboard a spaceship and held in an anti-gravity chamber without food and water for 3 days.
Anti-gravity's right.
That's a big character
Is he
development.
actually addicted to porn?
Yeah, dude.
Explain.
I mean, you'll see it later.
Is this a lady's idea of porn addiction? You have a porn magazine.
No.
You have some videos. You're a porn addict.
As far as I recall, he has tapes and tapes upon tapes of porn.
It's not in here either.
Yeah, but the problem is he has tapes.
So, okay.
No, wait. It's like if he had this on his computer,
Yeah.
it would be less. It's,
No. This is before the computer
tapes don't
porn
hold
era.
much. Yeah, but that's what I mean. You can't get much on a tape. So you have to have tapes and tapes and tapes.
Okay, well, let's just say that throughout X-Files history, he has been called a porn addict, okay? Whether you think that is considered one or not, then get over
I think
it.
the question is who's calling him this?
Everybody! All right.
FBI people.
So,
Okay.
everybody on the internet. Okay, so, and then also, we also saw the links that he'll go to for an investigation. I mean, this guy was sleeping in the homeless corner, in the corner with the homeless people. And he was, you know,
He gave his like
he was really getting
room
down in
to
there,
a
you know what I
homeless
mean?
guy so he could trade places with him.
Yeah, like, and I mean, and Scully was like, I'm going home. Like, so, I mean, we really see how Mulder is so dedicated and so obsessed. So do you have anything else to say about Mulder besides that?
No?
No? Okay. I mean, a lot of interesting points were made about Mulder in this one. And then for Scully,
I think Mulder's just lonely and
yeah, we did see that he's a little bit lonely, but he doesn't care, I don't think. I mean, he got a little annoyed when Scully was mentioning her dates and stuff, and jealous. You did see some jealousy there.
yeah.
But we'll mention that in shipper moments. So then Scully's character development, she is dating, which this is probably one of the very few times we ever see her going on dates
Really?
in the X-Files. Yeah. And I don't think we ever see Mulder going on any dates. But yeah, Scully rarely dates after this. She has one thing that she goes on, one night stand, and that's about it.
Is that because the fans would have like they hated it every time she
No,
going
I
out
think
with somebody?
she just gets so involved with Mulder, and I'm not even talking romantically. I mean like involved in these cases because she's always having to save his ass, basically, or vice versa. But she is constantly involved in this stuff. And then, like you mentioned earlier, we also see Scully's character development in that she runs after Mulder. She decides to go with Mulder. So she made the choice that she didn't want to date anymore, and she just wanted that was more interesting to her.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was really cool. Standout moments. Standout moments. Any standout moments for you?
Oh, I think I talked about mine. I did find it interesting. This is not really a moment, but every time they show like a drawing, like that part where they show the drawing of the lady that they're hunting, and it also just looks like a drawing of a lady.
Yeah.
Like a really bad one, but but I mean, if somebody showed me that, I would not think that was anything but a bad drawing of a lady.
Are you? But the way the stance that it
was in the Bigfoot. It was in the Bigfoot pose.
Exactly.
But it was like a lady in the Bigfoot pose.
That face was Bigfoot. That was not a woman's face.
Well, it just looked like badly drawn.
Okay.
And then later he's got a drawing of Bigfoot with big boobs. It just looked hilarious. I know that's like the Patterson film has.
So that was your standout moment?
I liked, well, I mentioned the interviews. I like that. My favorite part is like those really Kolchak-y interviews. There's that one where he's like interviewing the I guess the park warden guy or whatever he is, and I don't know, I just like that character, the way he was,
he's a
the
cool
way
character.
he was explaining things, and he'd be like, no, but then well, I might have seen this and that.
Yeah, because he didn't want to get the reputation of
But he didn't want to,
believing in
like,
that kind of stuff.
You know, he was still cooperative for the most part.
Yeah.
And, you know, I appreciate those characters that
Absolutely.
aren't just like being, you know, like say that the cop, or what is he, the chief of police or whatever he was, who was being a jerk.
Oh, yeah. Very Kolchak.
You know,
chief-
it's also very Kolchak.
Yeah.
Tell you what's responsible for the body you found?
Well, I got a pension coming up in a few years. You know, it's either wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. I don't ever come out here without my weapon.
So is that your standout?
I guess. I mean, I didn't have like a standout moment. Just
Okay.
stuff like that.
So, a couple of my standout moments, I really enjoyed, like I said before, I enjoyed all of the interaction with Mulder and Scully, but I think one of my favorite interactions was when she picked him up from the drunk tank. And he was all disheveled, and Scully was like, you know, picking him up, and then he said, and she's like ragging on him, and he said, "Are you gonna rag on me, or are you gonna take me somewhere to get some food?"
You gonna rag on me, or you gonna take me to get something to eat?
Am I buying, or did you manage to panhandle some spare change while you were at it?
I thought that was awesome. I was like, okay, married couple, kind of.
Well, so that's a shipper
way.
moment too.
No, I wouldn't call that a shipper
Really?
moment. That's
I
just
would.
like you've known.
I thought it was
somebody
a
for
shipper
while.
moment.
Okay.
That is a shipper
I
thing.
guess so.
That whole like, anytime you're acting like a married couple, that's a shipper moment.
Yeah, true. I think that is it. Let's see. And I also enjoyed the detective moments and that sort of thing.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Any mythology moments?
The only thing I noticed was like a bit of foreshadowing from like that professor.
Yeah, the one line.
Yeah, the one line about like, Mulder's like asking, could anything be above us on the food chain? And he's like, only if like aliens show up or something.
Yeah, he was like, apart from aliens showing up and taking
Yeah.
over the world,
We're gonna stay at
we're
the
gonna be
top
fine.
because we're so smart.
And it was like, aliens are coming.
What if something entered the food chain above us?
It won't happen. Our intelligence virtually ensures that, barring the introduction of some alien life form, we will live out our days as rulers of the world.
That was definitely a mythology moment, I would say. Anything else than that? No, nothing. Just more of the character development, which goes into their characters. All right.
It was a very Monster of the Week episode.
It was a
but
Monster
it had,
of the Week episode.
You know, they always have character development in those.
Mm-hmm. Shipper moment. Yeah. All right. So.
Oh, well, there was the whole thing about her going on a date, which was like
Yes.
had moments
Major
for Mulder.
shipper moments.
Yeah.
So we had the first time that Scully mentioned she was going on a date, and Mulder was just kind of surprised and appalled, and he was like, "Well, can you break it?" Like, she's like, "I want to have a life, you know."
Yeah, well, I have to get back to Washington by 7:30, so...
Another birthday party?
No. I have a date.
Can you cancel?
Unlike you, Mulder, I would like to have a life.
I have a life.
And then we had the second encounter about the date.
Where he like calls up and has her.
Yeah, while she's on the date, and he's like, "Sorry, I took you away from your evening," or something like that. I swear, it sounded like that. It wasn't that.
I didn't get that much out of it.
I did.
But
got
I mean,
that.
I know that was.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what was.
He
happening.
does say it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Scully,
Mulder,
sorry to interrupt your evening.
that's okay.
The next moment in that little grouping was when Scully decided not to go on the next date with this guy.
Oh.
Actually, no. It was when Mulder answered the phone in the office, and it was for Scully, actually. It was that guy. That guy.
That's what this is. Yeah, this is something I was going to mention before and I forgot.
Yeah, and he like stomped out of that office. He did. He like rushed out, like he didn't want to hear it or something, or he was a little annoyed.
Mulder. Yeah, just a second. It's for you.
Hello?
Hi, Dana. It's Rob.
Oh, hi.
And then
What I was gonna mention about that scene is like the guy's like, yeah, so me and I've got my son for I've got my son for the weekend. We got 3 tickets. Like, wow.
it was like Cirque du Soleil, and I'm like, go on. And then he said, I got my kid, and you're like, no.
We're just not kid people. I know that a
No.
lot of people are like, what's wrong with kids? Nothing. It's just not for us.
And then the next one would be when she came out of the office and he was confronting her about it and saying, who was that? You know, sort of a thing. And she was like, a guy. Anyway, you can see the clip here.
Thank you. Who's that on the phone?
A guy?
A guy. Same guy as the guy you had dinner with the other night?
Same guy.
You have dinner with him again?
I don't think so.
No interest.
Not at this time.
Thanks, friend. What are you doing?
Flying with you to the Smithsonian?
Do you have a life,
So
Scully?
yeah, those are the shipper moments. I think this was a very shippery,
It was.
shippish.
It was a lot
episode.
of thinking about what they wanted to like, especially Will Scully, like what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Did she wanna-
And that one moment where the lady that she was at the birthday party for, she asked her if she was interested in her partner, and Scully called him a jerk.
Oh.
And she was like, no, he's a
Classic.
jerk. And then she was like, no, he's not a jerk. He's just obsessed with his work or something. I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah, that's like that's one of the biggest ones.
So you've thought about dating Mulder, but you just decided that he was a jerk because you wanted to separate that. I mean, that's your go-to.
How is he a jerk? I don't even.
He's not a jerk.
Okay.
She's just trying to convince herself that he's a jerk so that she's not interested in him.
Wow.
You know? He's also kind of jerky in this.
I don't get that. I don't
There
get the
are
jerk
moments,
vibe
there
out
are
of it.
jerk moments.
I don't get that.
When he like leaves her places at this point, he's not to the point where he's like protective of her yet. Wait, no, squeeze.
Yeah.
He is protective of her, but not to that obsessive protective point, I guess. I don't know.
Well, some people call that overprotective.
Oh yes, good point. I don't know. But there's interest there, obviously. They've definitely got interest going.
Sure.
Right?
Pretty sure.
Yep. Okay. Alright guys, well, that was it.
Is that it?
Not the greatest X-Files episode, not the worst. We'll see some bad ones later on. But what did you think? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean it was an okay episode. It wasn't like you said, it's not the greatest, it's not the worst. I wish they didn't associate it with the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
Because it was just
You're gonna see that a lot, so you're gonna have to get used to
homeless
it, okay?
person in the woods. That should have been the title.
You're gonna have to get used to that, because that's how
The lady
X-Files
in the
is.
woods.
The lady in the woods. Naked lady
Dirty,
in the woods.
dirty, naked lady.
In the woods.
Dirty naked. That's one of the videos he has.
Oh my god. Alright, well, you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know if you enjoyed this shorter version of the X-Files by Moonlight, because we need to know what you thought.
Yeah, we're trying to get away from just explaining every second.
Yeah, and let us know what you thought about the episode, if you liked it or not. Maybe you do like this one.
Do you have any ideas of things you want us to talk about?
Yeah, maybe you disagree with Nathan's thoughts on the Jersey Devil.
Me?
Or the X-Files thoughts on the Jersey Devil.
You mean the episode?
Yeah. Just let us know.
Yeah.
The next episode is Shadows, and that will be episode 6. You ready for it?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
What's that about?
Promise.
Don't tell me. Save it.
I'll save it. We promise it won't be that long. We promise. I know we make false promises all the time, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Why'd you have to kill her?
Same reason you kill a rabid animal.